What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you're having a very happy St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's still St. Patrick's Day weekend, right? I know it was Thursday, but it is the weekend following. So whatever you're celebrating this weekend, we hope that it is going well for you. We have some new graphics. All right, we have some things happening here. I know I've kind of teased that new graphics mean new things for the Dallas Cowboys. That is not necessarily the case. I know we're all still kind of riding the high from the Cowboys signing not just one, but two players on Friday evening. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver James Washington and Atlanta Falcons defensive end Dante Fowler, the newest members of the Cowboys. No new action for the Cowboys as of Saturday, at least as of the time I'm putting this together. Just before 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be keeping you updated as free agency continues to roll on. We will have some fun stuff coming your way, by the way, as far as the upcoming 2022 NFL Draft. So make sure you do subscribe here to the Blog and the Boys YouTube channel. Your subscriptions mean the world. We just recently passed 16,000 subscribers, so thank you to all of you. On the hunt for 20. Here we come. Let's hope we get there before or during the draft. But let's kind of recap where things stand with the Cowboys, at least through the first couple of days of free agency, and take a look at what is surrounding America's team. So players that the Cowboys have brought back: tight end Dalton Schultz, who they placed the franchise tag on. We knew that already. Michael Gallup was given a 5-year, $62.5 million deal. It doesn't exactly come out to that when you look at the particulars, but those are the numbers that the agent hypes up, so we're going to go ahead and stick with those. Tight end Jeremy Sprinkle, wide receiver Noah Brown, long snapper Jake McQuaid, safety Malik Hooker, Dorrance Armstrong, the defensive end the Cowboys were able to bring back, linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, whose name is a little bit too long for us to fit in there. That's, hey, sometimes we got to let you know how the sausage is made around here. And linebacker Luke Gifford. It was Leighton and Luke who were brought back on Friday before the news of the new players. Again, as mentioned, James Washington coming to the Cowboys from the Steelers, Dante Fowler from the Atlanta Falcons, although knows Dan Quinn, not just from their time together in Atlanta, their brief time together. Dante Fowler, a part of the 2020 Atlanta team that Dan Quinn was fired from, but Dante actually worked with Dan Quinn all the way back at the University of Florida. So a nice long connection there. Players lost by the Dallas Cowboys so far. We haven't spent a ton of time talking about these, and they're no longer Cowboys, so we're not going to devote a lot of time, but just so you know, just so you see the totality of the way things are looking, Amari Cooper, not a free agent loss, but the Cowboys did trade him away and created all of that precious salary cap space. Cedric Wilson and Connor Williams are now both members of the Miami Dolphins, in case you haven't been paying attention. Randy Gregory, I made a reference to at the defensive end the Cowboys lost, who's going to wear number 5, by the way, with the Denver Broncos. I'm not a fan of this new world where all these players can wear single digits, but happy for Randy nonetheless. And Lyle Collins, who left Cincinnati without a deal. Very interesting. Maybe he just wants to hear other offers and see what everybody else has to say. But the Bengals, if you've been watching the NFL, at least this past season, in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, you know that Joe Burrow needs protection. So it made a lot of sense for the Bengals to ultimately bring Lyle Collins in. But as mentioned, he did leave without a deal. Altogether, this Cowboys team is worse than it was when the season ended, and that's okay. That this isn't to sit here and make up for the team. This isn't to sit here and tell you that everything's going to be all right. We're starting to see the Cowboys get a little bit active. James Washington and Dante Fowler do fit positions of need. We have seen this is how the Cowboys choose to handle free agency. They like to get positions that they do not want to be pigeonholed into drafting come draft day. So the Cowboys getting a wide receiver in case they don't walk away with one at 24, getting a defensive end in case they don't walk away with one at 24. This is a receiver and defensive end heavy draft, so the Cowboys, you have to assume that they're going to get some depth one way or another in the coming weeks. But on the subject of Amari Cooper, very quickly, I know that we are obviously not spending a lot of time on him because he is no longer a member of the Dallas Cowboys, but in a segment that I am making up just for today, titled Something That Will Piss You Off, check this out as I have to move my face over here. A tweet from NFL Network's Tom Pelissero that came out on Saturday afternoon. The Browns, who you've obviously been watching the NFL, traded for Deshaun Watson on Friday afternoon. The Browns restructured wide receiver Amari Cooper's contract, converting most of his $20 million base salary into a signing bonus, adding 2 void years and saving over $15 million on the 2022 salary cap. I'm going to move away from here because I feel gigantic. If you're wondering, this move was available to the Dallas Cowboys. They could have done this had they wanted to. They saved $16 million by cutting, or rather by trading Amari Cooper, and the Browns just saved $15 million on the cap this year. So, this was possible. I mean, it's funny. This was really predictable. The Browns, we're not here to talk about their move for Deshaun Watson, but they obviously have a huge contract that they are giving him, so they have to create some salary cap space. So what do you do when you're in a pinch and you need to create salary cap space? You restructure contracts. Which contracts do you restructure? The guys who you know are going to be around for the long-term future. For the Dallas Cowboys, those players have long been their offensive line. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick had their deals touched a lot. Zach Martin has had his can kicked down the road. One of the two that the Cowboys restructured this year already, Dak Prescott being the other. Amari Cooper could have been one of those guys. And this, if you somehow didn't get this by now, if you didn't want to believe, this more than anything, again, this was already known, but proves that the Cowboys were just out on Amari Cooper. They were so disconnected from the player. It wasn't just the salary cap savings that they were after, because as evidenced by what the Cleveland Browns have done here, they could have done that without moving on from him, but they did not want Amari Cooper on their team. This is full, total, absolute, unequivocal proof that is the case. So we'll see. We'll see if the Cowboys were proven right in wanting to move on from Amari Cooper. But we mentioned the things that the Cowboys have done so far. The things they haven't done, though, are kind of the ones of interest to a lot of people. These are the things that we're waiting to see. Number one, will the Cowboys pursue veteran linebacker Bobby Wagner? That is something that fills my Twitter mentions a lot, at least. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at RJOchoa. My DMs are open. If you have any comments, questions, or points of hopefully constructive criticism, you can also get me in the comments below. I'll get to those. Email also, if that's more your speed, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com. The Cowboys signed Leighton Vander Esch on Friday to a one-year deal worth up to $3 million. Really not that expensive of a proposition. So they're not necessarily out of the running when it comes to adding a veteran linebacker. Now, for what it's worth, Anthony Hitchens, former Dallas Cowboys linebacker, their fourth-round pick in 2014, won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, got cut by Kansas City recently, and has expressed a desire, according to the Dallas Morning News a few weeks ago at this point, to return to the Cowboys. I think it would piss a lot of Cowboys fans off if they decided to bring him back over, say, Bobby Wagner. We talked about Dante Fowler and his history with Dan Quinn. How about Bobby Wagner's history from their time together with the Seattle Seahawks? We would all love to see that. Point number two, can Dallas manage to bring back safety Jaron Kearse? That's probably the one that really everyone's hanging on to as far as trying to will into existence. A lot of people really were surprised by the way Jaron played last year, and credit to him. It was a one-year prove-it deal, and he proved it. I mean, he absolutely proved that he is worthy of consideration for a legitimate contract with the Dallas Cowboys across the NFL at large, and it just hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? I don't know. I mean, Jaron has had some kind of mysterious tweets, not necessarily breadcrumby sort of tweets, but it's one of those things that we're kind of waiting and seeing. I can tell you what, though, there's a lot of Cowboys fans kind of waiting in the balance to go one of two ways. They're at a fork in the road. If Jaron Kearse returns to the Cowboys, all the tweets in your timeline are going to be, okay, this offseason starting to come together. They re-signed Michael Gallup. They tagged Schultz. They brought in Fowler. They brought in Washington. They got Kearse back. All right, you got me back, Stephen Jones. Or if Jaron signs somewhere else, it's going to be a matter of this team, the pie, the salary cap space, they don't know what they're doing, etc. Sometimes fans, when it comes to sports, can be that fickle. Question number 3, are the Cowboys going to add any specialists during free agency or wait until the draft/undrafted free agency? This isn't necessarily a high priority, but for what it's worth, we've talked about him before. Former Los Angeles Rams punter Johnny Hekker, who John Fossil obviously knows well from their time together in LA, signed with the Carolina Panthers on Friday. They are not the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys cut their kicker already this offseason in Greg Zuerlein, another John Fossil disciple, and they have yet to bring back Brian Anger, but the Dallas Morning News did report about a month ago that is unlikely to happen. Brian Anger was a Pro Bowler last year. While he hasn't been signed yet, it stands to reason that he's probably going to want more than the Cowboys are willing to spend. And ultimately, while I'm totally here to drag the Cowboys for reasons that make sense, if they don't want to bring back a punter, that's fine. But they have to make sure they find an appropriate one. And so will they pursue a punter or a kicker on the open market when it comes to veterans in free agency? I don't know, but they have holes at both of those positions. They did bring back Jake McQuaid. That's one of the 3 specialist positions. So will the Cowboys bring back another? I don't know. Speaking of bringing back, who else is likely to return? There are names technically out there. Will the Cowboys bring back Carlos Watkins or Brent Urban? I mean, Brent Urban makes sense, right? He was having a great season for the Cowboys before he got hurt. That's probably the only one that I would throw out right now besides Jaron Kearse, and I'm trying to will that into existence. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at. So, all told, that's what we got going on. It has been, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days and change when you consider that Saturday isn't quite over, at least at the time of putting this together. Cowboys have weakened as a roster. They have made some moves. They are no longer the only team in the NFL to not pursue or not sign an external free agent. They still have some players on their roster to take care of. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. My name is RJ Ochoa. You know me, of course, from throughout the Blog and the Boys universe. Like I said, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. Hit me up in the comments down below, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com if that is more your speed. We'll be back for another recap on Sunday. We'll see if anything happened. It's the busiest time of year in the NFL. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.